All right, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Rejects Late Late Show. I mix it up sometimes. I have my beverage here in my little pony cup. It is a nice Seven Up and some cheap whiskey. So excuse the slur every once in a while, folks. I'm a few sips in. I am here with my co-host Cody and my beautiful
Howdy.
wife Lindsay. I'm sorry I introduced you. Go ahead.
Cody has a co-host too. You
Yeah,
didn't see
Cody
it?
has a co-host. Well,
Who's Cody's co-host?
I don't know this guy's name. We picked him up last week at Target to add to our Halloween collect decorations.
nice. I like it. I woke up and every man, every October, like right before the first, I sprout these things. They just pop out. And I don't know why.
And do your canines grow a little longer as well?
Yeah, my I I start growing fur in places and hearing voices. I don't know. It's weird, but I get in the mood for Halloween. It's fun. I love it. But anyway, we are going to talk about the 1999 Tim Burton. I don't want to say it's a classic to me. I love it. We watch it every year, but I'd say rendition of Sleepy Hollow. It's not your traditional Sleepy Hollow, but we'll get into why we like it here after a while. Cody, what do you think of the movie? Like, what when did you first see it? You know,
Well, I saw it in theaters opening weekend. My dad took me, even though I'm sure he did not want to watch it. He took me to see it
Oh,
because I was at this point in my life, if it said directed by Tim Burton, I was gonna go see it because
all
he
right.
was like he was like the first big name director like I knew who their name was. Probably because he directed the Batman movies. So that's
Mm-hmm.
probably how I knew his name. But he directed so many things that were integral to my childhood. He directed the first Pee Wee Herman movie. He directed Beetlejuice. He did not direct Nightmare Before Christmas, but his name is above the title of the movie.
Right. Um, it was a rental for me. Like I picked it up in Wizard. Like I started hearing about it. I saw something about it in Wizard magazine. Um, I started catching wind, and this is early internet. This is dial-up internet for me. But when I could get the page to load, I was I was seeing the McFarlane toys, which I'm a fan of. They had an excellent line of these toys. They look spooky. Check them out. I would like to collect them again. But and then I saw the trailer, and I did not make it to the theater. Like I think Star Wars was around the corner.
No, that
Actually,
was in the.
Star Wars was in May, so maybe I was fresh off of Star Wars kick or something, or still in Star Wars mode. But
Did
I
you go
for some reason
see The World Is Not Enough, the James Bond movie? Because that came out the same weekend.
you know what, I did see that. So I don't think it was on opening weekend, but I do remember seeing it. Like I saw every Bond film in theater from Goldeneye up to um up to Casino Royale. Like I saw the entire Brosnan run in theater, and but yeah, I do remember seeing that, just not on opening night. And I think wasn't man,
what's the name? Don't look at my notes because they're not about what you're talking about.
no, I
Well,
mentioned it
this
earlier.
poster had a great tagline. I don't know if you remember it, but the tagline on the poster was "Heads will roll."
Oh no, I don't remember that, but that's great. That's one of the greatest taglines in movie poster history. I love that.
Well,
um,
the film definitely delivers on heads rolling.
right now, I had this. I actually I rented this. It was like like I was one of the first ones to get to a copy of it and rent it. I remember it. I think I remember calling the video store and telling them to please hold me a copy. It was like one of those. So I watched it, and let's see, a couple of months later, I started Berkshire Brothers and Rusk in October, and I remember them getting it in, and when did it come in? Maybe it was the following year it came in. But Berkshire's eventually they closed their video rental department, and I remember I had saved up like $300 of paycheck money, and I went in there and like cleaned out. I talked to, I'm gonna name drop Mr. Brown. He was my old boss, great guy. But I talked to him, and he was like, "Sure, just take a milk box, put a red sticker on everything that you want, and it's $5 a tape." So I was like, badass. So I went in there with milk boxes, and I spent like $300 of paycheck money, and my room like was a video store for a while. I remember, and I've sold them off over the years, but
I can't wait for you to tell your children that story about spending money on VHS tapes, and they're like, "What are those? Why did you spend that much?"
It was one of the best days of my life. I'm not joking.
And I know, and I can't wait for them to totally not understand, because they have no.
Another best day of my life is showing up at a garage sale with my mom, and I step out, and their whole front yard is full of milk crates, and in these milk crates were stacked upward, like side by side records. And I went over there, and I was expecting the lady to be like, oh, they're, 5, 10, $15 a piece, depending on what they were. And I walked up there, and she goes, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you the whole yard for like $75." And I had to beg my mom, and she did it. She paid for them, and we loaded them up in the car. And I spent like the next week just cleaning records. And I still have this collection, by the way. It's put up, it's in storage, but and I've added to it over the years. But that was an awesome day. Just, man, there must have been like 500 or 600 records. And what's great is they were all like rock and outlaw country, and like a bunch of like movie soundtracks. I know I've got the Jaws LP in there. 2001 Space Odyssey.
Nice.
Like tons of Lawrence of Arabia. I have that soundtrack, original pressing. Like tons of movie soundtracks. And anyway, that's something else I would like to get into at some point, are movie soundtracks, because I'm a huge connoisseur of that as well. So,
you know what's weird about this movie is they didn't release it in October. It came out in November, which, I mean, it has the fall vibes, but it's kind of weird it didn't come out in October, because you think that would be like prime release time for it.
Well, Lindsay, yeah, I said something about that.
That's what we were talking about, like why that choice was made.
Yeah, I told her it was the perfect segue into a fall movie. Like it's the perfect in between Halloween and Thanksgiving movie. Like, because
if you never want spooky season to end,
yeah,
but also Thanksgiving and Christmas are
right. Halloween ushers in, to me, like, I know it's already officially fall, but Halloween is the tipping point. You're like, all right, it's getting serious. Like, we're going to get more weather.
You got to be better at planning.
Yeah. Like, the weather's going to get a lot cooler. It's, we're going to ease into Thanksgiving.
Who doesn't love a season of overeating as a shared pastime?
Right. And look at their, and you can look at the sets. It looks like all the leaves are falling and the trees are dead. I'm sure it has something to do with the witch that lives there, but everything's dreary. And to me, when I think of fall, that's what I think of as dreary weather. Like,
November
that's
is
some of my favorite
month, because
yeah,
you've crashed from all the candy and the and the hijinks of October, and of course there's that giant meal in the month that we all were like, carbs are okay, they don't have any calories in November and December because everybody's going to be there to eat. But it does, Besides the fact that there are jack-o'-lanterns in this movie, it doesn't really have to be a Halloween story.
Yeah, and they weren't.
Other than the fact that it's scary.
Okay, it's kind of like after Ichabod shows up to the town, right? And he goes to their, and if when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's a Halloween party." And then over the years, I'm like, "No, that's like a fall festival that they're having."
Well, it's been forever since I read the actual short story that this movie is based off of. But if you remember in the Disney short, it is a Halloween party in which
Right.
they go to.
Well, and that's a good point. I was also telling Lindsay, I was like, man, there are lots of scenes in here that mimic the Disney cartoon. Like
Well,
where
you
he's on
have
the horse
this.
backwards, he gets the pumpkin straight at the camera. And I
You
was like,
have
that's
the toads going Ichabod, Ichabod.
that's probably one of my favorite parts. Like the covered bridge and just certain shots that he recreated, and I'm like, well, he worked for Disney, and I'm pretty sure that's like everyone else. Like it's one of my favorite Halloween
Bing
cartoons.
Crosby is a big part of the Disney presentation of the Sleepy Hollow story, and I feel like that's probably like a nostalgia thing for Tim Burton.
Did y'all ever have we had the video cassette? Did y'all ever watch
It's
The Wind in the Willows?
Attached with the Wind in the Willows.
Wind in the
They were
Willows,
together. They showed it
that's-
every Halloween. They showed it every Halloween on the Disney Channel.
Now, don't get me wrong. I always loved that cartoon, right? But I was like, man, come on, get to Sleepy Hollow. Like that's the one I want. Like that's the candy,
Our kids fast forward through the Toad part for sure to get to.
I like to watch it.
The Headless Horseman.
I like to watch it now that I'm an adult, and I'm like, man, I really enjoy this, But then there's that secret part of me that's like, man, I kind of want to watch the the Sleepy Hollow part.
Well, the cartoon used to mess with me when I was real little, even though I would still watch it.
Oh, I loved it.
See, I'm not the only person who was afraid of that. Thank you.
It scared me too, but that and
it's the reason I'm a grown adult person who's still afraid of a headless horseman. Like I have to go outside, and we live kind of out in the country, so there's like creaking trees and stuff in the fall.
What's the demon's name from the segment in
the demon's name?
The demon's name, man. In Fantasia. I'm sorry, Fantasia.
Oh man, yeah.
That
scared
segment
me too. But I think the
is
music,
my favorite.
I think the music makes that scarier than the actual. I don't know what the demon's name. Isn't it something at Ball Mountain or something? Is the segment?
I think so. Now I don't know if y'all remember. I know you don't. And I don't mean that in a mean way, Cody. We're not that far apart in age.
Chernabog is the demon featured in The Night on Bald Mountain.
Chernabog, thank you. He's
thank
awesome.
You, Google.
Yeah. But Disney would take on the Disney Channel and make these music videos, and it would be set to like Huey Lewis or no joke. I'm not joking. Like they had one set to Huey Lewis.
It sounds like a VHS I had that was like.
It was the Heart of Rock and Roll, and it was like a clip of all these Disney.
Yeah.
Of all the Disney characters dancing and stuff like that, and it stands out because for some reason that clip was in there of Chernabog, and I'm like, that's odd. Like even as a kid, I was like, hey, that's.
So another thing of the original Disney cartoon when I was younger, why it messed with me, when we first moved to Kentucky, it wasn't really a bridge on our neighborhood, but there was it was sort of a bridge. It was a patch of road that went over a creek to get to our part of the neighborhood of the house. And it would always have like leaves and branches and stuff. So at nighttime, it made me think of that bridge from Sleepy Hollow, even though it wasn't covered.
Oh no!
Hey,
That's terrifying.
My parents live, and I grew up down okay. You know where the Jim Hog Park
That's
is,
a
right?
spooky road in the daytime.
Yeah.
The road your parents live down. That's just county roads in general.
Okay, you take the Y like you're going to Jim Hog, but you stay on that road and you keep going. They live about 7 miles out. Okay, so you're going to go down some road, but now they've cleared all of this out. But this road was called Moon City Road, and I can remember like being real young and we go ride. But the reason why it was called Moon City Road is all the brush and the trees had grown up like over the road where it was covered, and it was always just shade and at night I guess extremely dark, but that always kind of reminded me of
It's spooky woods.
yeah, it was all spooky woods. There were I remember seeing lots of owls through there, and these big dead gnarly looking trees, and again it's all cleared out now, but I can vividly remember it, and it just always reminded me of
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, those Sleepy Hollow woods. It was real creepy.
There is a nod to the book in this too, because we have a scene where Brahm is pretending to be the headless horseman, which is very
Yes.
much the theory of the story, is that there wasn't actually a headless horseman. It was just Brahm trying to scare Ichabod away so that he could move in on Katrina and get that land money.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's kind of why the way they portray it in the cartoon, yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, it's very much hinted that it didn't really happen in the cartoon, but when you're like 4 or 5 years old, you just see the dude with no head with a flaming pumpkin. That's all you're thinking about.
Hey, and let's give it up to Ray Park because he was busy in 1999.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Darth Maul and the Headless Horseman, which I'm gonna say
And Toad.
the Headless Horseman is more frightening with Christopher Walken's head attached to it than he is as a Headless Horseman.
Oh man.
I don't know. I like the
Those
headless
teeth.
part.
Those teeth are pretty creepy.
But okay, funny part. It's when Braun and Ichabod are fighting him after the Cover Bridge. There's a shot where he's doing these moves, and it looks just like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting Darth Maul. Like, because if you look at it, he fought both those guys, and then he fought 2 Jedi as Darth Maul in the same year. So I thought
you only have so much time to learn fight moves. You might as well use those fights the way Disney recycles animation.
And then he
gets to Darth Maul Braum though. Like, that's the best part, is Ray Park gets to Darth Maul somebody else.
Right. Oh yeah, and he cuts him in half.
With those axes. That's pretty epic.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally just didn't think about that.
I made that comment to you while we were watching, and you're like, yeah, that's great. You didn't know what I was talking about.
Man.
It's okay. He gets his just desserts by being struck by lightning a year later.
Who's that? Who gets struck
Ray
by lightning?
Park, because he's Toad in X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yep. And you know what? 1999 or 2000, Chris really loved that X-Men movie.
Aww, what does that mean for 2021, Christopher?
Well, I mean, it's okay. It's good. I still enjoy it for what it is, But yeah, I mean, I still think
comic book movies.
It took a lot of credit away from Blade, I think.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good, It helped usher in that era, of
comic book
like, hey, we can do this, we can do this with more characters and make it enjoyable. And back then,
the scripts are already written because look at all these comic books stacked up full of stories just waiting to be put on the big screen.
And you know how I am with easygoing. I'm easygoing about my movies. I love shit movies. That's just the way I am. I'll always have a soft spot in my head. I wasn't as cynical as I am now. Like, I can shred that movie. Like, I can take it apart, but I don't want to. It's fun. It has a lot of fond memories for me. And
for the time, it was a very well done movie, and it did what it needed to do. But yes, comic book movies have gotten better, there are better X-Men movies. But
yeah. Now X2 was the bomb. Like, I think we talked about that Nightcrawler fight scene.
I love Nightcrawler.
Yeah, that whole opening scene in the White House was like one of the best opening scenes in a comic book movie ever.
Yes, it is. I love that sequence. I love Alan Cumming. It's a shame that he didn't want to come back and play the character. What's interesting about this film is that besides Sweeney Todd, which I guess because it's also a musical, this is like the only true horror film Tim Burton's done, even though he's like dipped his toes in the horror sandbox all the time. This is like, besides this and Sweeney Todd, are really the only real horror films he's done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is a real slasher movie, even though it's so pretty.
Yeah, lots of heads being lopped off and people cut in
Blood,
half, and yeah, squirts of blood and a little bit of
And
inaccurate
gore.
squirts of blood.
Yeah,
I don't notice if you notice from the aesthetic of the film, but you should notice by some of the cast of the film that Burton takes a American Gothic tale and kind of puts his spin on a Hammer horror film, which those were British horror films made through the 1950s to the 1970s.
I love them.
And
Need to
you
get them.
have Sir Christopher Lee and Michael Goo in here as
Hammer
having
horror
small
film.
parts who were in those movies. I mean,
Mhm.
Christopher Lee was Dracula.
Right. Christopher Lee did everything.
They are classics. We need to cover some of those.
I know
at some
he
point.
like murdered people for a living for a long time, but I just love him. Christopher Lee
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yes, Christopher Lee was like in some sort of secret espionage group in World War II, and he critiqued something in Lord of the Rings and told Peter Jackson, "No, that's not the sound a person makes when they're being stabbed." He's like, "How do you know?" And he's like,
How do
"Well,
you think
because
I
I've
know,
stabbed
Peter?
some people in the
Yeah.
Civil War." And he
There
was
was a
saying, "This is the noise they would make."
Yeah, he's like, haven't you listened to any of my hours-long stories about my life? I've killed
there,
several people.
there,
It
there
was
was
a part of my job, and I do my job well.
there was a story about him talking about using piano wire to
He is James Bond.
yeah, using piano wire wrapped around two pieces of wood. He was describing doing something, and
Is
they
Isn't he related or was related to Ian Fleming?
yes, they were
Yes.
cousins.
Yes.
Yeah, which is cool. Him being
I know he isn't
man with the
actually
golden
Johnny
ring.
Depp's father, but I wish he was, because of when they play opposites or when they play in the same film together, I really like it. No matter what I feel about Johnny Depp, I do like that pairing in a movie. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Speaking of Johnny Depp, this was a time when people weren't going, "Ugh, Johnny Depp's in another Tim Burton movie."
yeah, but you know what? They pair well, and you can kind of make fun of it, and it's funny, but they've put out some good movies, man. Like
I admire their
I like
commitment to one another.
I like Edward
professionally.
Scissorhands. It's an
I think he's Tim Burton's muse or was. Now they have not worked together since Dark Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wonder if he got a little too diva for him to work with,
Or
because
maybe their polycule with Helena Bonham Carter was not working out, and they just nobody hangs out
he
together
got caught in the
anymore.
middle of the divorce, and he doesn't know
He was also
which
causing
parent
his
to go
own-
to. Is the
causing
deal?
his own problems. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he and his wife divorced, and then he had that whole drama with Amber Heard, who was born the year he was in Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's always a recipe for nothing good.
You know what? Speculation. Sorry if I offend anyone if you're a Johnny Depp fan. But from what I hear and what I've read, I know it's a lot of tabloid and no one's really gonna know for sure except the court documents that are out. But it sounds to me like he's got a coke and alcohol problem. She had a drug problem, and they were both beating up on each other. And now it's a nasty, sleazy Charlie Sheen and his ex-wives kind of tabloid thing. Except they are a little bit bigger celeb, and That's my 2 cents. I don't know, because it always seemed like they would just beat up on each other.
It's just a shame that, clearly he has problems and she has problems and there's problematic things going on in their lives. It's just a shame because he was, at this point in his career, like one of the best actors working. I mean,
Right.
even before all the tabloid stuff blew up, I kind of felt like he was just phoning stuff in and just being weird and not giving like interesting performance. But 1999
Well,
Johnny
When you
Depp,
start to make a certain amount of money, you don't care what other people think
I-
because it
I-
doesn't cost you anything not to care what they think.
I think to me, it was kind of like a higher profile Nick Cage situation where he's still he's still a celeb, and he's not quite in those Nick Cage
and Charlie
type movies, tier movies that he's putting out now.
Nicolas Cage gets
But-
paid.
Yeah. Well, I heard he just bought a comic book and he's doing it by some 6-movie deal. Like, no joke, he just bought like #1 graded 9 point something. Oh, was it a Spider-Man or a Superman or something?
did you know they used to be roommates? They used to live together, Nicolas Cage and Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I heard they would
That-
take pesos and exchange it for like gas, like American money for food and gas and stuff. Like they were extremely struggling, I guess.
To be a fly on the wall in Nick Cage and Johnny Depp's apartment or living place.
All I'm going to say is there's probably some weird shit going on.
Oh gosh, yeah. Maybe that's what's wrong with both of them.
But this is pre-pyramid, Nick
Maybe
Cage
they just
and
inflicted
pre-island.
themselves on one another, and then they both have like.
Well, yeah, this is pre-Pirates of the Caribbean, and Johnny Depp is still living in this, I'm going to try and do the weirdest and most obscure stuff I can because I hate people saying I'm pretty.
And Nick Cage,
Imagine being so pretty you're tired of it. Get away from me. I want to be
What
in
a curse.
weird movies.
but Nick Cage, Nick Cage was probably still going by Nicholas Coppola,
Not in
Maybe.
99, but like
No,
maybe
not
when they were
99,
living
but
together in the 80s.
in their roommate days. This is back when they're like, man,
and
my
they
uncle
were roommates.
Uncle Coppola, could you please, like, Uncle Francis, can you hook me up, man?
Need a job.
Use your name. And then when he gets in there and he's like, I'm too cool for that.
I'm gonna make it on my own made up name.
I'm gonna steal I'm gonna steal an African American comic book character's name. Nick Cage.
He believes it though. You can tell he believes in Nick Cage. Nick Cage does.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Can we gush about Christina Ricci and how beautiful this movie is and how it makes my brain tingle just to watch it?
Yeah, I love Christina Ricci, and
Who doesn't?
Oh, hey.
besides her being way too young for her and Johnny Depp to be love interests,
We are.
That's the only thing that makes this hard to enjoy, really.
I actually mentioned that, but hey, real quick before I know we missed it, and that's my fault. But we were 18 minutes deep into Halloween. Happy Halloween, guys!
Oh, it's Halloween.
Yes.
Time.
happy spooky season.
Man,
Yay!
Yay.
It's better than New Year's. 'Cause it's
All right.
31
Always better than New Year's. I think part of the reason they went with Christina Ricci is because I think Tim Burton would have originally cast Winona Ryder, but because Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder have history, that didn't happen.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought you were going to say because otherwise Tim Burton would have cast Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh, he hasn't met Helena Bonham Carter yet in his.
Okay.
This is pre-Helena Bonham Carter. He's about to meet her.
It's timeless, that coupling. Still hard to believe.
Because the lady playing Ichabod's mom, Lisa Marie, was Tim Burton's girlfriend at the time, and she was also Vampira in Ed Wood, which is the original Elvira.
we were just talking about watching that.
I have to watch Ed Wood now.
You do. It's amazing. It's
And
probably
she's
Tim
the
Burton's.
Ack lady in Mars
Oh,
Attacks.
I love Ed Wood.
Yeah, yeah. She's the lady the Martians dress up as to seduce Martin Short in
I love
Mars
Mars
Attacks.
Attacks too, man.
I
That
love her
movie's
in that
great.
too. She's so pretty.
And then she is an ape in Planet of the Apes, which where Tim Burton meets Helena Bonham Carter, who's also an ape.
Yeah,
Whoops.
maybe he
Oh boy,
has
what a
some
whirlwind.
sort of animal fetish or something.
Tim Burton.
But yeah, Christina Ricci's so good in this movie. But I guess if you want to be weird, she's age appropriate for the time period that this
Yeah,
story
if you're really
takes place.
if you're really trying to make it okay to watch and enjoy for
Yeah.
yourself for just a minute, you can pretend.
Oh, Mama, I just turned 12. You're
Time to get a
practically an old
husband,
woman.
dear.
Yeah.
You'll be
Well, I
spinster
mean,
soon.
Christina
Don't get
Ricci
all
was 19 years old when this movie came out, so I imagine she was 18 when they filmed it.
But she looks 19 now and she's 41. So it would never matter how young Johnny Depp was at the time. She has that perfect, supernaturally childlike face, and it's not fair. Also, she's awesome as a blonde in this movie.
That's true, because she's a brunette.
Yeah. Gosh, she's just gorgeous. We can talk for the show if you want to, because I'll just look up more facts about her to share. I love the costuming in this movie. All her costumes are my favorite for sure.
Oh, the costuming was great, and I also love the filter that they put over this, because even though we have like an updated copy, it still looked like I was watching it on VHS.
That's the spooky fog filter that you have to put on everything.
Just the whole filter, that gray filter they kept on it. Just everything was hazy and
but wasn't it pretty?
Foggy, and oh yeah, I loved it. It was gorgeous.
Well, the production design is immaculate, and I love that the opening sequence, and then we get a whole title sequence. Of course, Tim Burton's famous for his long little title sequences of Ichabod traveling to Sleepy Hollow, and we're seeing the pumpkins and the scarecrows and everything. I just love the production design of the town too, and I love that it's not all CGI in this movie. There's some stop motion in this film.
Oh, that's cool.
The witch scene is stop motion. That's not CGI.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
I
didn't realize that. Yeah. I loved the fact that it was all on a set too. Like it was all on multiple sets. And they were able to pull that off. It was gorgeous.
I'm jealous of everybody who got to all the people they let walk around on those sets to promote the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty good promotion. Letting people come
and Instagram it up before there was a gram to throw those photos up on.
Pre-MySpace, man.
This is pre-social media.
Pictures by yourself. Yeah. Nobody else knew you got to do cool stuff.
This was straight
like
up email. This was like
they did.
If you could get it to load.
The promotion for the movie involved a pretty ambitious website. I read with live question and answer series with people who helped make the movie and behind the scenes photos and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah, good for them.
Wow.
1999.
That gets a wow.
It's impressive. Is it really 1999? I don't feel like that movie came out that long ago.
Yep. Yeah, 1999. Not to get back to Johnny Depp, but that is one of the aspects people who are fans of not just the Disney movie, but the original literary source do not like that casting choice, because Ichabod Crane is supposed to be this tall, lanky, kind of gawky looking
an awkward
person.
Fella. Yeah.
An awkward looking guy.
Do you know who I could have seen in that role?
Who?
Adrian Brody.
Yes, Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Ichabod Crane vibes.
Look at him, and not to his facial features.
In 1999.
He reminds me more of the animated Ichabod.
For sure. He's got the nose, he's got the build, Yeah.
But I do like the fact that I like the changes. I was telling her like I
think
like
the awkward would have been easier to buy for his character if it had been cast differently.
yeah, like I love the changes he made, like making him a detective. I thought that was I liked it. I liked that it turned out to be this murder mystery story in the end. This woman using witchcraft, which I thought was cool, and I like the backstory of how
Well,
he
speaking
his
of Miranda Richardson, so you guys want to just feel icky one more time?
Okay, I can't leave then. Yes, I need to know
Miranda
what this
Richardson is only 5 years older than Johnny Depp. Do you want to know the age difference between Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci?
Tell me.
well,
17 years.
oh no.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I guess I'm glad I know that now. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I
So we
think.
were talking
I
about that
think.
because I was
Oh,
going
go
to say
ahead.
Hollywood does that. They let like male lead actors get to keep being like a romantic interest and an action hero and a protagonist every time up until what was the example? It was a much older movie and it was like a very aging like A-list actor, and I think his leading lady was like a starlet. Like that's been Hollywood from the beginning.
Harrison Ford in 7 days, 7 months, or 7 days, or what was it? 6
Yeah,
days.
but isn't that I haven't seen that since it came out, but isn't that part of the thing is that he's older? Like some of them play with that. But yeah, Lindsay,
No,
you're
I don't
right.
remember
Like
that.
men can be
It
as
was
old as they
normalized.
want and still be the romantic lead. I
Mhm.
think we should have more movies where the woman's 17 years older than the man.
Someone,
Some of these ladies can
Harold
pull
and
off.
Maude, or
Is
no,
that it? That's the
no,
only
there was
example you can think of.
that. Yeah, the only. Hey, there was this latest Clint Eastwood movie, Cry Macho. Someone, now I have not seen it, but I saw someone in a review say that somebody was like, man, the most unbelievable thing about this whole movie was some hot young chick wanting to get in bed with Clint Eastwood.
Oh my
I
In this
think
movie.
that's the mule. In Cry Macho, of course, the lady that kind of forms I don't guess romantic thing. She is much younger because Clint Eastwood is as old as time. He's 91.
Right.
Oh my
But the
gosh.
woman isn't like
Was it
young.
was it
But
good? Like, have you seen it?
Cry Macho's fine. It's better than I
Okay.
thought it was
Are you
going to
trying to
be.
justify him being that much older?
You're like,
Was it at least a good movie except for that really big gross part?
yeah.
No, the lady's like 50,
Old
I
wrinkly.
think, which is still a big age difference. But I think you're talking about the mule, which I have not seen. And if there's a supposed scene in that movie I don't want to see that I've heard
No.
about.
Oh no.
I came across the bridges of Madison County one night, and I was like, no.
I don't want to know what that is either. I'm gonna write both of those down so I never watch them. Thank you.
There's a
So
scene in that
for
movie.
for all you nerdy fandom people, this movie has the Emperor in it, and it
Mhm.
has Uncle Vernon in it.
Yes, it does. Oh my gosh. Oh man, who's the other one though? Hold on.
It
Well, you
has
got Michael
89
Michael Gu,
Batman.
who played Alfred,
Yep.
who was in a lot of those Hammer horror films. He's in the horror of Dracula. Oh, Dumbledore's in this movie too.
That's
Yeah,
what I
Dumbledore.
just said.
Michael Gambon.
Yes, I was trying to find his name. I just remembered Michael. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, the lineup is the only one I didn't like in there. Now was Jeffrey Jones, man. That dude's a pervert.
But I guess
Ruin
not
the
knowing
party.
at the time, because I don't know
Yeah,
when the horrible stuff came out about him. I guess that's 2004, 2005.
something like that.
I guess it's appropriate that he's playing the creepy minister.
Yeah,
right?
he's much easier to hate, for
Right.
sure.
Hey, man, it had some of the coolest deaths too. One of my favorites is when they're all running scared into the church, and he takes that post and wraps his rope around it and like chunks it through the window
And spearfishes Albus
Yeah,
Dumbledore right
and
off
just
the
like
pulpit.
Yep.
and pulls him out of there. When I first saw that, I was like, "Holy shit, that was awesome!"
Oh, there's another Harry Potter connection. Miranda Richardson, who plays the stepmom, the villain of the movie, that's Rita Skeeter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is. Holy bananas. Yeah. Oops, I'm sorry. No, she's good. She's out. She's not waking up.
Our daughter's asleep.
She told us
Notice
we were
Lindsay's
all
been
going
here
to
all
bed.
night tonight.
Yeah, she told us we were going to bed and we didn't have a choice, so we had to have an intermission. She picked quite the time to sleep in our bedroom on time for once, because I really want to yell about this movie.
But even though
Great.
Johnny Depp is not the traditional version of what Ichabod's supposed to look like, he plays, even though he ends up being a heroic character, he's still a big scaredy cat and superstitious.
Well, that's what I love about his character is the fact that they kept the timidness, the nervousness of the school teacher. Again, I'll reference the cartoon. That's my go-to. And hit the scaredy cat, aspect of him, and just switched the profession. So now he's a nervous, bumbling, scaredy cat detective, sent from New York to investigate these murders instead of coming in to take over the school position, which, again, they kind of had to change it to amp up the horror aspect of it, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I appreciated that. It was different. Like, they kept the element, and they kept the vibe, and
I like the backstory they gave him for being so superstitious, because he's a little bit more enlightened in this. He's a man of science.
That I really,
he's very anti-religion.
I didn't catch that until my later years. Like, I didn't really catch the significance of that. Was his Puritan father, found out that, I guess, his wife or whoever this was a witch or messing around with witchcraft, and he puts her in Iron Maiden. But yes, you got it. Sorry, I had to. I've been waiting to do
tired.
that.
It's been a long day. That was good. That was a good one.
But anyway, and then and executes her, as a witch, and that traumatizes him as a kid. So that drives him away from religion because of his crazy Puritan upbringing. And again, like you said, it turns him into a man of science and
in the original short
logic
story, he's
and reason.
Very superstitious. Like, he's really susceptible to the hauntings of Sleepy Hollow and all the weird stories and old wives' tales that he hears. Right. But in this, that he's still that person, but a little bit more enlightened version of that. He tries to see the reason. He assumes it's just somebody who's like a normal serial killer and not a supernatural one. But then it slips right back into it because he falls in love with a witch. An underage witch. That feels like Tim Burton trying to tell us something about himself. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I think it's just.
I've never heard anything about Tim Burton with that.
No, but we all know Helena Bonham Carter looks really young for her age.
No, she's older though. They're around the same age.
She is now.
No, she's still 8 years younger than him.
She looks a lot younger. Was my point. It's an aesthetic for Tim Burton. Obviously, you've seen his work.
Right.
It's about the childlike face and the big eyes and the. You guys know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me all weird. Don't leave me hanging in silence to explain myself. I'm just saying there are parallels.
No. Yeah, he has a visual aesthetic he likes of his characters, and I guess maybe his romantic people kind of people he's been romantically involved with kind of have that aesthetic in real life.
He also worked on a version of Alice in Wonderland, and that the original source material was written by a pedophile. I'm just saying. And at the time, everybody was like, "Oh, Lewis Carroll, he's so quirky. Boy, he sure loves kids." Really young.
Yeah.
Go read about it. I'm not kidding.
No, I mean, that's where the basis of the Batman villain, the Mad Hatter, comes from, is from that. So, yeah. And I would say do not watch his version of Alice in Wonderland. You think, oh, Tim Burton, Alice in Wonderland, that should be interesting.
It's terrible.
We went to the theater, and that's one of the rare movies that I actually fell asleep in. No joke. Like, I worked that day, sure, but normally I'd have the strength, the oomph to like being like, no, I'm watching this movie. But man,
I'm about to make a hot take right now.
Let's hear it.
I would watch his Planet of the Apes remake 1,000 times before I would watch Alice in Wonderland again.
Hey,
that's a fair take.
I enjoyed that as a popcorn movie. Okay.
Are you talking about Alice in Wonderland?
No.
Okay. Because I remember a distinctly different reaction in the theater when we watched that movie.
Sorry. His remake of Planet of the Apes. I saw that in Jacksonville. I remember it being a big deal. Like, man, we were all excited about it. Was it as great? No. But I like it as an early 2000s, just shoot 'em up popcorn movie with some apes in it. Now I want to have an apes marathon.
I'll write it down and never remember it.
Of the original. I want to watch the original.
Your list of movies is too long.
Yeah, I know it.
Time is flat here.
But yeah, I think this movie is a ton of fun. I wish Tim Burton would do more scary actual scary movies, because I feel like that's something he likes. Well, I know he's a horror fan, but for some reason he just has never done that many. I guess everyone wants to attach him to like these weird, whimsical blockbusters, and right now everyone's trying to just get him to remake something that seems like something he would like, that's slightly dark or slightly.
What's he attached to coming up?
He's attached to an Addams Family series. I don't know how involved he is in that, but his involvement in it makes me less interested, because I feel like, and there's a podcast called Blank Check, and they do directors and their filmographies, and they have a theory that maybe Tim Burton's movies aren't that good anymore because he's a happy person now.
Aww. That makes me happy for him, though. I don't want to be sad about that. Good, Tim. I'm glad you feel too good to make those movies.
Need a hug, buddy?
No, he doesn't need a hug. That's the point.
Yeah.
No, he needed a hug when he made Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, we'll have to watch.
Hey, that's another great soundtrack too.
Edward and Edward Scissorhands. Damn, I don't want to look at Johnny Depp that much, but I do want to watch those movies.
Let's give a shout out to the soundtracks.
We can watch
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman, yeah, great soundtrack. I've had it. I think I used to have it. Is it a must?
Are you asking?
That may have been one of the ones I got rid of. I've gotten rid of so many soundtracks over the years, and then all those went into storage.
I'm gonna shout out to Frankenweenie, the original one.
Oh yeah,
with Shelley Duvall and Daniel Stern.
Stern, yeah.
Yes.
I actually like the animated version that he did.
I haven't seen that yet.
As much as our kids have watched it, I'm surprised we haven't seen it all the way through. But I think our kids actually prefer the original live action.
It probably is better. It's been a while since I've seen the original, but I was just saying I did enjoy it. Like it wasn't.
The animated one was really popular. I just haven't sat down and watched an animated movie all the way through recently.
I like it better than The Corpse Bride, which was another Tim Burton animated movie.
Really? I haven't seen that one all the way through. My kids won't watch it with me.
Well, Cody, was there anything else that you wanted to add? Because I was going to ask you what we kind of picked this movie, because I asked Lindsay when we were like, okay,
I have a significant story to tell about this movie.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Well, let's
'cause I
hear
was like,
Lindsay's significant
Yeah.
story. I'm excited.
I'm
It's
sorry.
only significant if you care about my personal history, because when I first moved to Rusk, I was still in high school. Actually, I just started high school. Oh, Christopher, you're old. And a group of girls invited me over on Halloween because I moved in October. They invited me over for Halloween. They're like, we're too old to trick or treat, so we're going to watch scary movies. And we watched Sleepy Hollow. And I was proud of myself because I was such a wuss at that time that I was like, this is the first scary movie I've ever watched all the way through. And it's not really that scary now compared to things I've seen, but I just was like so proud of myself for being brave and watching Sleepy Hollow and From Hell, the Jack the Ripper movie with Johnny Depp.
That's a good one we could cover.
Final Destination. But like, I feel like this movie was so pretty. That was what helped me be brave enough to watch a bunch of people be murdered. Like, I was so drawn to the aesthetic of the movie that I could tolerate not Christopher Walken cutting people's heads off. Christopher Walken nails his lines in this movie, though. Those
Yeah.
those are scary.
He doesn't say "wow" in this one.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a reason he didn't get any speaking parts in this movie, other than like, yeah.
Yeah, he would be less scary if he started talking in his Christopher Walken voice.
Yeah,
Or
suck the air right out of the movie. Just
had
like,
a dancing role, like a tap dance role.
Well, we say that, but Christopher Walken can be scary and intimidating on screen, but like what he became in the 2000s and on, not so much. But if you look at some of his earlier performances, yeah, he can be a scary dude.
Tell me what he's scary in so I can watch it.
He's scary in What Happened to Natalie Wood. Oh.
What?
Ouch. Ouch. Isn't that more Robert Wagner though?
I believe that's straight up Wagner there. From
I'm not getting the.
He's very intimidating in True Romance, where it's a scene with him and Dennis Hopper, though it's written by Quentin Tarantino. So there are some lines in that are like, oh, but Dennis Hopper delivers them greatly.
Was I muted the whole time?
Yep.
What?
Dang
No.
it.
Okay. What happened?
You said you wanted to see True Romance.
I want to see True Romance because I heard James Gandolfini's in it, and I heard he's really good. Like the little part that he had, or
it's a great movie. I love it.
True Romance.
I love James Gandolfini, but I only heard his real voice like a few days ago when he's at an award ceremony of some kind, accepting an award, and he sounds so much like an accountant that it's giving me an existential crisis a little bit. Because I only know him from The Sopranos.
Ooh, happy Soprano Day 2, man.
That dropped today. Or it should be on HBO Max soon.
I'm so excited. I know what we're watching tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tonight.
Lindsay, you mentioned that you like the visuals, the aesthetics of the movie. Of course, that's usually happens in a Tim Burton movie. They're always pretty, but also frightening.
Yeah.
Was this your first Tim Burton, or had you seen some of his earlier work?
Oh gosh, let me think. Hold on.
Had you seen Batman before that?
No, I don't think I had. I think I'd seen pieces of it.
What about Edward Scissorhands?
No.
What about?
I wasn't interested until after I graduated high school.
Okay.
Cool before then.
What about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah, but he didn't direct that.
Well, yeah.
He wrote the poem that was the source material for it. And
Beetlejuice.
Had you seen Beetlejuice?
No, I told you I didn't do anything cool or interesting until I met you.
Okay.
You're the only person who made me want to see.
Oh man.
That's probably it.
Was my first. Besides, I saw Nightmare Before Christmas. I grew up with that, but that wasn't Tim Burton directing.
You might just be too young to have missed the pocket of Pee-wee fever to have seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I love it.
I've seen it now.
Yeah, she's seen it with me. She's also seen almost every episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse, and
I can't wait to watch the Christmas
his
special again.
His HBO specials. Yeah.
Was it Alora that asked if Pee Wee Herman was related to Ernest, if they were cousins? Ernest P. Worrell. She's like, they're cousins. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why. Maybe we just watched
in our
heads together.
In our heads, they're cousins. Yeah, his Pee-wee's his cousin.
In her little fan canon universe, they're related.
I mean, they have similar energies. I mean, just one is just a good old boy, and the other one is a man-child.
Pee-wee, Ernest is Pee-wee's
country
southern country cousin.
His hillbilly cousin.
And Ernest would say, "That's that funny boy over there. We don't know what's wrong with him, but he's all right."
Yeah.
Man, he's from up north.
Wouldn't that have been a team up? Wow. I need to put those pictures together. Like do a Pee-wee and a Ernest picture together. That'd be great.
No, I just think this is a really fun movie, and I love that Burton was able to cast all these talented British actors in the film to be the residents of Sleepy Hollow and make his own little Hammer horror film, even though it's based on something American. And I know, like, there are fans of there are literary circles who don't like this movie because it deviates from the source material, even though it's the same story. There's a headless horseman running around killing people,
right?
And Ichabod Crane is the protagonist
of a live action version of the Disney interpretation of the original story.
Just a horror version.
Bing Crosby was like trying to read you the book a little bit, but this one's just like, you've seen the cartoon. It's exactly that, but scary.
I'm gonna be that guy. I've got one issue with this movie, and only one. Because to me, I don't want to say it's a perfect movie, but it's just such a great movie.
It makes my brain smile.
I
don't care what plot holes there are.
I had one issue, and that's when he goes and he visits the witch in the cave, and she lunges at him, and that snake and her eyeballs like pop out.
Are you trying to hurt that 1999 CGI technology's feelings?
That's not even CGI. That's stop motion. That whole scene.
That's stop motion too.
That scene I didn't care much for that, man. I was like, it would have been scarier.
Her eyeball snakes had to pop out though.
Her lunging was not the issue. It was like her eyeballs popping out, and then that snake or her tongue, whatever it was.
I think you just don't like snakes.
And to me, it took me out of that. It took away from that scene a little bit, and. I don't know. Like, I don't know. That was the only issue that I had.
How great was the tree full of severed heads, though?
Oh, I love that.
Oh man, right?
Tree and the heads.
And the tree has like bones in it for some reason. When he's like hacking at those branches, it's just like sludgy blood and brittle tree bones.
Oh, I loved it.
And great.
Yeah.
I like the witch scene. I feel like that's Tim Burton just be like, you know what? I want a witch scene in this movie. Let's do it.
Like there wasn't really a point to that. It was just like maybe to introduce her as the sister later on.
She led them to the tree where he's been.
Yeah, I guess so. But
also, why did no one else think, hey, let's give the headless horseman his head back? Maybe he'll be cool then.
Right.
Yeah, maybe he'll chill.
Well,
why does everybody keep trying to shoot the horseman? He does not have a head. Yeah. Guns will do nothing. Stop wasting
bullets. What is your musket gonna do to a dude with no head walking around?
He clearly, yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, and also, it just takes so long to load a musket. You look silly while he's marching towards you with bladed weapons.
Well, I think this is where we're going to wrap it up. I, for one, love this movie. I give it 2 thumbs up, Siskel and Ebert style. It's a good popcorn movie. It's got a few jump scares in it if you've not seen it before. If you have, it's still just I don't know. I love it. We watch it every Halloween. I love the adaptation of the story, what he did with it. I think it's a great companion to. I'd say watch the cartoon beforehand as like a little featurette. Just watch it for fun, and then watch the live action Tim Burton version right afterwards, and you'll see the homage that he paid to it, and I think they had a lot of fun with it. So I vote watch it. Go rent it, find it somewhere, buy it. I think it's worth having in your collection, even like as part of your Halloween collection. I mean, we do. So, but yeah, it's fun all around.
It's a gorgeous movie.
And yeah, it's a gorgeous movie, great costumes, good soundtrack. Overall, just
As overcast as everything is lit, which is like my favorite lighting period because I'm a vampire.
yeah, I love dark, rainy, cold.
I love that you can see all the
Weather.
textures of the costumes and the hair and the setting. It's still very like you can maybe that's a sensory thing, but you can imagine just like touching everything.
Yeah.
And it's all feels real and looks real and it's still beautiful. Oh my goodness.
And again, the filter that they used, it took me back. It was like I was watching it off of VHS again. Like, and I know to some people were like, "Man, that's kind of crappy. I want a clear."
No.
Like it's clear, but I don't know. It just had a VHS
gossamery
feel.
and romantic and foggy and ghostly. It's supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be sharp.
Yeah, I think this movie is a ton of fun. I think it's a great live action retelling of Sleepy Hollow. I wish we could get this Tim Burton back, and maybe Tim Burton do more movies with Christina Ricci and less Johnny Depp. That's all I'm saying.
You know, after
what a redemption arc, Tim Burton. Come on.
Right after they come back to New York and it's all snowy and white and happy.
Hopeful.
I told Lindsay, I said, how cool would it have been to have gotten a sequel of them doing stuff
Funny
in
that
the
you
city?
mentioned that, because Lindsay mentioned From Hell, that she watched From Hell as well at this slumber party. When I saw the trailers from Hell, because I wasn't as knowledgeable of a comic nerd as I am now, which I still am not as many, I thought it was a sequel to Sleepy Hollow at first. When I started seeing the trailer, I'm like, did they make a Sleepy Hollow sequel?
We need to do
if
From
you
Hell.
Slightly
I think
less attention than that, you'd swear they're the same movie.
Mm-hmm. From Hell, man. Ian Holm is like, I don't want to spoil it, but man,
so good.
Yeah,
spoil it. How old is that movie?
20. 20 years old.
Yeah, we need to save it. But I think we need to do that movie at some point. You gonna be back?
No, I have to go back.
Okay, sorry. Okay, bye, Lindsay. She's signing off.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So I was gonna ask you. I'm sorry. Did you have something to add, Cody?
I was gonna say, this is a ton of fun. My only flaw with it is that there's just a few other Tim Burton movies I think that are better than this, but it's really well done. And if it was somebody else's movie, it would be up higher on my list. But because he's got so many other movies near and dear to my heart, it's not quite in that top 5 for me. But
yeah, this is by far from his best. It's not one of my favorites of his. Like, it's a favorite, but I'm with you. It's not. I would say it's probably not in my top 3 of his. It's up there, but to me, it's one of those Halloween movies that I know I can go to. That, like, when my kids get old enough, it's scary, but it's not so scary that I won't be able to introduce them to it here pretty soon. Especially my oldest, without it being too horrifying for him. I mean, he's 11. I'll probably do it this. She probably at. When I was his age, I probably would have been watching it a bit earlier. Them 80s rules when it came to videos, but yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, And I would like to see him do more scary movies. And I'm glad he made such an interesting, fun, so Tim Burton film after
Mhm.
the fiasco of the Nicolas Cage Superman movie that he was involved in.
Ooh, have you seen that documentary?
Yes. You
Yeah.
know, I can't say that that movie would be good, but I know it wouldn't have been boring.
Oh man, I don't honestly don't know what to think about what that movie would have been. Like, I'm pretty sure that at some point my younger self would have been excited for it in some way, but like, kind of like, what the heck is going on with Nicolas Cage? Because man,
Supposedly, Michael Keaton was going to show up as Bruce Wayne.
whoa, that would have been wild. Which I'm glad they didn't because I like to think that Christopher Reeve would have shown up in his universe, you know.
Yeah.
But but anyway, I think we can both agree that it's a fun movie. Watch it, you know.
Perfect movie to
Highly
start your
recommended.
spooky season and fall. I watched it yesterday when it looked a little cloudy and overcast. It was just the right time to put it on. So yeah, I think if you
Perfect.
love Tim Burton, if you love spooky movies, this is a good one to put on, especially even just to be in the fall mood. It's just a good film. It's got that fall feel with pumpkins and the
Right.
weather and the atmosphere. It's just a fun movie.
Well, Cody, I was going to ask you. I know we kind of picked this one. What would you like to watch next week? If you have something come to mind, it'll be our first of. Well, I guess you could say tonight was our first official uh October show, but next week will be our second show. What would you like to watch? Like what?
Oh, and there's so many things to pick. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I don't know if I have
Okay.
a definite one that I want to specifically talk about right now. Because I know what we're doing the week after next. We're gonna talk about the original Halloween and the uh the recent sequel in prep
Yes.
for Halloween Kills.
Now I'm gonna mention. Now I don't know, Cody, if you're interested. I'm up for some extra shows if we want to get some extra horror movies in because I know, like, we just watched uh, t- uh, t- 10 Cloverfield Lane the other night for the first time.
Did you like it? John Goodman was so good in it.
I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. It was a good movie. The ending was kind of odd, but I liked it, and I liked the fact that they thought he was crazy, but in the end, he wasn't really about the aliens. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. So, but yeah, we're kind of picking out horror movies to watch. We're trying to be careful because we don't want to like it. We're trying to choose some new things or things that I don't think we'll really do on the show because I want to save those. I don't want to watch, something that we might do, but I'm trying to pick some new stuff. I know at some point we're going to do Dracula, Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist. Um, like with the kids, we're going to do Monster Squad. I don't know. There's so much that we're probably going to try to fit in this year. I don't know. A part of me is like, no, Chris, it's impossible. Don't try. You're going to be so warped by the end of this. And I'm like, no, I'll have Tolkien to like unwind my warped, murderous brain that has just absorbed so much gore and violence. It'll be okay. I can go to Middle Earth and unwind and relax after all this is over. It'll be worth it.
We should do. I'm not saying we should do it next week, but Edgar Wright's got a new horror film coming out. So we should do Shaun of the Dead for at least one of our Wednesday
That would be fun.
night shows.
That would be fun. Um, yeah, I'm up for it. So yeah, just decide what you want, and you can get with me later, and we'll announce it on the show. Guys, please, we encourage you. If anybody watches this, if you have any suggestions, or you're like, hey, I might want to pop up and do a short show, like maybe chat for 30 minutes about a series or a horror movie that I saw that I really want to talk about, feel free, please, because I'm always up for it. Cody, whenever you're available, you might be up for it. I don't want to volunteer you for anything, but it's out there. I would love to talk about it. We don't have to spend an hour or 2 hours on it. And if you want to spend 30 minutes, 20 minutes just talking about a movie or something that you saw, and you want to chat it up, then please let us know, because I think it's fun, and I want to soak up all the spooky movies I can.
I'll ask you something too, but we can do it when we're not recording. We're not live. Yeah, so just keep a lookout for more content. If there's a specific scary movie you would just like us to talk about, comment below on the page and let us know. We can talk about it. We're open for
this is pre-Patreon, so please take advantage of it. Wink.
That's true. We don't have a Patreon, so
yeah,
we're
nothing
not
wrong with
making
it. I'm just saying, later on, you never know.
Enjoy your spooky season. Tell us what you're watching in prep, and what if you're excited for either Halloween Kills or Last Night in Soho.
Yeah. Yeah, those should be good.
Or if you're just gonna binge all your favorite slashers or monster movies or whatever, let us know what you're gonna be watching this month. It's my favorite time of year.
Yes. This I'm telling you, back to back spooky season. Actually, it's a triple threat for me, because I love Christmas movies too. I love watching all the Christmas movies. Again, next month of November is straight on like Tolkien and the few Thanksgiving movies that we put in there, and then spooky movies this month. So it's the big triple threat. We got a lot coming in. So please enjoy, share with your friends, and you can get with us on Video Store Rejects, our Twitter as well. Cody, thank you for contributing to that.
Usually for whatever reason, it won't let me post our videos on the actual Twitter page, so I just mentioned the Twitter page in my personal Twitter so that it pops up and people see it.
That'll work.
But yeah, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Check us out. We're doing videos right now. We'll be back next weekend to talk Hellboy as well for Guillermo del Toro. So be on the lookout for that video.
And if I didn't mention it real quick, yesterday was National Podcast Day. So to all the podcasters out there and the newbies, which we are, or Cody, you've been at it a lot longer than I have, but I'm getting the hang of it and I'm enjoying it. And I appreciate you guys at least friending the page and liking and laughing at some of the stuff that we post. So it's a thrill.
Good night and happy Halloween.